Are you weirdos and weirdettes doing today? I'm going to be working on Kiya from the EVS core box. Oops, let's get her on screen here a little bit. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to be working on a little bit of the non-metallic gold down here on these greaves, around the rings of her bracelets. She's got a couple in here, kind of high, and then finishing up this pauldron right here. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. Because apparently I am the king of non-metallic metals. No, I'm kidding. But it does seem like that's what I do. Hey, Doug, how are you doing, sir? Welcome in, welcome in. Got to put on the old eyeballs and we shall get started. We were supposed to do the Calypso today, but we had a little problem. We had a malfunction with the airbrush, i.e., I dropped it and bent the needle. So we did not continue. That is one of the problems of being a klutz. So if it's not my cat tearing stuff up, it's me tearing stuff up. You get drooling all over the Gen Con. I have yet to see it. Well, I did see it in passing, but I haven't really had a chance for me to look over it. I did see the iconic deck was going to be for sale, which makes me happy. I've had it on pre-order since it came out at my online retailer, but they are notoriously slow about getting pre-orders in. It's usually 3, 4, 5 months after they're available everywhere else. So I may just buy it at the Gen Con sale and cancel the pre-order because yeah, I kind of want that deck now, yesterday. You have to prep up your ninja shopping list. Does that mean the Yuko title is going to be available on it? Or is this something else with the ninja thing that you got going? Hey, Eleanor, how are you doing? That is another one of our weirdo painters, as well as Doug, who I've been talking to. How are you doing, Eleanor? Oh, by ninja shopping, you mean I'll be at Gen Con doing buying for friends? Oh, okay. I got you. I understand. pick up some of them sweet, sweet Vagrant song boxes. Wait, did you beta it, Doug? Seems like you did. Seems like I remember you did. Feel a bit tired. Oh, well, it's getting up there in the evening there, isn't it? It's like 8 or 9. Well, that's when I just start getting cooking. I am a night owl. I would be much happier if we could start our day at 1 or 2 in the afternoon instead of 7 or 8. Yeah, you did beta. I thought you did. Ordered Grave Goo and Friends and the Dam yesterday. Now I'm drilling over the Gen Con stuff. Nice. Yeah, I'm actually, like I said, with that icon deck that said I pre-ordered, all my Yedsa stuff is in there with it, the whole keyword. And of course that means it's held until the pre-order item is released. So I may see my Yedsa stuff in time for next March's errata. So that's why I said if I can pick up that iconic deck at the Gen Con sale, I'm going to, and then I'll cancel that portion of the order so I get my Yedsa in. Mostly early rounds. I bet because you got all busy. Okay. It was a lot of fun. It's probably one of the most difficult games I've ever played, like board game wise. But it was, it was complex. It was meaty. It was chewy. It had a lot going on in it. Glad to see it being released. You wore out your old copy. Now, were you the one? Did you get one of the ones that had the error in the deck? Like I think it was one of the suits was printed wrong, and that was why it got pulled back. Or it was printed wrong in the corner, but it was right everywhere else, or something of that nature. I thought that was the reason behind the iconic going away and then coming back later. This is real pucker factor here, guys, getting up in the spot without getting on anything else. Woo! Pucker. It was I know it was teeny tiny. Like it was barely worth noting. But I also know, like to collectors, that one's actually, valuable now. Can pucker up. Yep. Dude. Whew. I was sweating that little bit. Let's see here, both more than both out. Wow. It is a pretty deck, though. I mean, it really is. I honestly did not think I cared about decks too much, but the more I've seen, the more I've seen Malifaux played, the more I see that as kind of that mark of individuality, and people really get into that. So now it's like, well, I guess I want my own deck now, or at least a deck that I know not everybody is going to have, kind of thing. Now, of course, the iconic, everyone is going to be sporting it for a bit, but after that, it should kind of mosey back into every other game you play, kind of thing. Some more puckering. Hang on, guys. There we go. Okay, that got most of it. Whew. Whew. Wow. Hey, thanks for that follow, Retro Schemo. Appreciate that. You picked up the new Duality deck at your local gaming store and really like the art. That one, I don't think I've seen a picture of it. You have been summoned. Yes. We were talking about the Gen Con sale and how Doug was planning to buy some stuff for friends that weren't able to go. And I said, make sure you pick up a extra crispy copy of that beautiful game, Vagrant Song. It shows up quicker than the game. Nice. Yep. Is it ego tripping that I tend to play my own deck? No, because your decks are freaking fantastic. It is not ego tripping. I mean, if I was, and I say if I was, but I mean, I am semi-artistically inclined. I'm just not I'm not fast enough to make it to do a lot, right? Takes me months and months to do a small project. And because of that, I don't do much, right? Because I'm busy doing other things. So, no, not ego tripping or stroking at all. Free to use your own deck. Like I said, I would if I could. I mean, you have to ask yourself, if you're asking that, you have to ask yourself, was it ego tripping to play your painted miniatures? No. Then why would it be the same with your with the other, right? True. Mm-hmm. They are selling some sexy decks. They are. Like I said, I am big on digging those decks. Those are nice decks. You wish you could draw well. I mean, stick. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I can do pretty good, but like I'm just not fast, and it's because I've just not practiced. Honestly, it's the same with painting. If you don't practice, you're going to be slower and not as good, of course, right? So you got to practice, got to get those reps in, and that's part of it. Like I get a project started, it's not going fast enough, or it doesn't look good enough, and I get discouraged and I quit, leaving the project unfinished. So I've got tons of unfinished stuff. So that is an issue. Yeah, solution is just practice. Yeah, and it's just finding the time to do that. This is about next to the highest color we're going to drop here on this bracelet. And then we'll get some edging in here. Whoops. I feel people speak so much about talent, which can sound a bit like it's something innate, which a big part of it is any craft loves to grind. Yeah, I mean, it helps to have some natural talent, though. I mean, you can't. I don't think everybody can be artistic, okay, or good at art. Not everybody's wired for it, okay. Um, but I think everybody can be sufficient at art. Okay, they may not be great. They may not have people, wowing by the flocks to their artwork. So yeah, but for those that aren't innately talented, yeah, you got to practice. Even those that are, they have to practice, but maybe not to the extent that someone with talent does. Like I said, I used to draw a whole lot. I mean, I drew all the time from the time before I was walking, I was drawing, and I got really good at it. I actually had a full-blown scholarship to SCAD. But I got out of it due to debt, life, all that good stuff, and I stopped doing art. And as a result, you kind of lose that edge, that fire. Luckily, I found miniatures, and that made it a little bit better. Sister draws incredibly well. She got all the natural talent in here. Aw. Also having the drive to grind through it. Yeah, if you want to be good at the thing, you gotta have to be willing to be bad at it first. That's true. Yeah, that's why a lot of people have trouble pushing through that, that hot garbage phase on their miniatures, because it looks so bad, and you don't want it to look bad. You want it to look good, and so it's really hard to get through that. That was a little too much water there. Get that a sec to dry. Come back in here, work up at the top a little bit. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing. I know it doesn't always appear super well on camera. One of these days, I'd like to get a nice DSLR so you can really see what I'm doing. What's that thing called again, Doug? The Chrysalis of Misery. Oh, I like that. That's really nice. Yeah. That's pretty good. I'll leave it to the British to come up with something pretty wording. Sounds much more metal. I like that. Yeah, definitely more metal. I mean, I always thought Heart Garbage was pretty good, but that one is just beautiful. I like that a lot. Okay, now we're going to edge that up a little bit, and that little bracelet will be done. They're opening for Brutal Emissary on their upcoming tour. Nice. Which if you're here for that, the brutal emissary is always going to be called the brutal chef in my circle because of the way I painted it up. I had the top half of his cage in his hand, right, attached, but the other part I left off for later. And so it looks like he's this waiter, maitre d', lifting the cover off, a tray of food. So we call him the brutal chef. Ooh. Okay, we kind of froze up there for a second. I don't know if that was my end or the other end. Hopefully not mine. So 5 guild master titles available at Gen Con. Wow. Okay, cool. All right. At least it didn't go like into the rainbow pixels. I mean, not that rainbows aren't cool. I love rainbows, but did want to see the rainbow pixels where I'm painting. Get a little bit in here at this edge. Like so. We really need to get that shoulder pad up. I guess I'll work on that next. It's just bothering me sitting there in that hot garbage phase or the chrysalis of misery stage. Doesn't really roll off the tongue very easy, but I like the sound of it. That got a little thicker than I wanted. This brush is about ready to be replaced, but that's okay. I got more sitting there waiting to go. Actually, it's not horrible. It looked worse than it was. There we go. Okay, that bracelet is done. One of the reasons I started putting the date I finished the model on the bottom is so I can go back and look at how much. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, honestly. I've never done that. And one of the things one of my streamer friends did is when he first started painting, he took a model, his first model, and he saved it. And a year later, he came back, got the exact same model, painted it again using what he knew now, a year later. And then the third year later, came back, painted that same miniature again. And he has this 1 year progression of this model, like 4 years now. And it's really, oh, shoot, my brush. Really a great idea. I wish I had done that. Granted, I have pictures, right? But very few of my early miniatures do I have in my possession. Probably. Ooh, I just smacked my knee. I can't see where I have it. It's over there somewhere. Over there somewhere. But one of my earlier ones, where I first started learning blending, which I used what I called the striping method, but it was actually layering. When I first started blending by layering, it was what's his name, Saint John, um, from Dark Ages, and that was one of my very early higher end models, and I never finished him. He had his shield arm and his hammer left to do, and I never finished him. And I was like, you know what? If I could figure out which greens I use, I'd probably go back and try and finish him up, um, just to have him complete it. Even though some of it would be, later, might be a little bit different. But if I could get it close enough, I would. Yeah, you like that idea? Nice. I inadvertently done that with Raspy and her icy friends, and she was the first model painted. But then I painted her, so up for a couple of dioramas. Oh, okay. She was the first model you painted. Very cool. Okay. Let's go on over here. Get a little bit of this Rhinox hide. We're just gonna kind of come in here and get these bits on the back, because they're not getting much light, right? Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. A little bit right down here. Now these little rings shouldn't be as difficult to do, because they're going to be, just little rings versus, big smooth area like a bracelet. Famous last words, right? You're going to be so difficult. Yeah. So, anybody that plays No Man's Sky, they did a big update not too long ago called Frontiers that allows you to become a governor of a city. Play your own cities now. But they just dropped the third expedition, and so if you want to get in on your expedition rewards, which are account wide, so you can pick them up on any character, which is really nice. You may want to log in and do that. Also, they are doing Twitch rewards as well. So you can, if people watch the stream for, watch you stream in No Man's Sky for a couple hours, then they can pick up some extra goodies as well. But it's one of my favorite games. I mean, it's like a quiet time game, because there's not much in the way that's going to get you wound up. I like it. Can't play No Man's Sky because playing that game you lose all track of time. Well, yeah, that is kind of one of the dangers of it. I literally lost entire days of my life to that game without realizing it. Wow. Sounds a bit like me in Star Wars Galaxies. God, man. I was younger then, didn't have the responsibilities, so I'd play 18, 20, 36 hours at a time. Didn't matter. That's why I was one of the first 10 Jedi on my server, because I had all the time in the world to play. Cool thing is they have there's another sandbox game in production seems really, really similar to SWG. Even has a entertainer class, a social class. So who knows? Maybe losing myself again. But it's called Galaxies of Eden Online. But it looks a lot like SWG, other than, of course, no glow bats, no stormtroopers or anything like that. But I mean, as far as it being the sandbox and being, a social interaction type MMO, it looks a lot like it. And that was one of the great things about SWG, was the social aspect of it. I mean, I still talk to probably 12 or 13 of the people that I met in over the years in SWG. And this is now almost 20 years later, 18 years later now. So yeah, the bonds that were formed were very strong. ADD, folks, is a blessing and a curse. Yes, it is. I know this for a fact. I am right there with you, my friend. I think that's one of the reasons that I like miniatures so much. It's because it's one of the few places I can really, really concentrate and focus down. Video games is another, but it's not really productive, right? But painting is. You got something at the end that you can show off or be proud of or whatever. So yeah, that was definitely a great thing, finding miniature painting for me. It's also one of the things I don't get discouraged about either. I only seem to feel like I want to get better at it. Like when I do artwork and I'd post it on DeviantArt, and I'd see all these other beautiful paint jobs that people are paintings and sketches and stuff that other people had done, I would get super, super discouraged, and I'd quit. I'd drop my brushes or my pencils and just quit. And when I see miniatures that look really super duper beautiful, all I want to do is say, how did they accomplish that? Can I do that? Can I get better enough? And I push myself with it. And it's really strange that just a change in media, not even really medium, change in the form factor or the canvas is all it took for me to be encouraged rather than discouraged by competition. Right? I think that's a fantastic thing about miniatures. Got some of your best friends in your mouth. Nice. Well, I mean that's good too. I mean, gaming is one of those bonding experiences. However you game. Like I said, for me, for the longest, it was the online gaming. I met a lot of friends in WoW too that I still talk to, but the most important friendships were all from SWG, and it was, I think, because it was primarily meant to be a social game, and it was very cooperative early on. So yeah. Okay, so we got the wristband, the rings, the wristband. Now we're gonna work on this hot garbage shoulder here. But first, we're going to take a drink. Okay. Hey, Virik, how are you doing? Virik, how are you saying the words? Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Now we're going to come back in and kind of reinforce these shadows because we lost some of it when we came back in and spot filled that shoulder pad, which we still didn't get really super perfect, but close enough. Okay. Pronounce it your way. All right, cool. Because I will butcher a name. They call me the butcher of names. Gotta be careful we don't get this on the chest piece that is already painted. The backside we don't have to worry about it so much because it's going to be covered. But we gotta be careful of this smooth little section up here. I missed the start of the stream, but now checking in as my little ones finally sleep. Fantastic. Sleeping little ones is a good thing, especially when it means you can watch streams. So we're just talking a little bit about art, talent versus practice, and RPGs that will suck us in, and ADHD. So we've hit on a little bit of everything going on right now. So feel free to chime about your experiences, right? Missed that one. It looked like Gabrielle maybe. Followed her light. Thank you for that. I just got my Gen Con letter. Yay! A little late. Better late than never, right? The wrong color. Wrong color. Here we go. This is the right one. So we're starting to look a little less like hot garbage. I mean, not 100%, but we're getting there, right? And I know at some point I'm going to paint all over that electricity. I just know it. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it's going to happen. whether it does or not, but we're just going to go ahead and prepare for it. So I'm going to paint on that electricity at some point. It's just going to happen. That's why I did not put the details on it yet, because I knew I'm going to be messing it up at some point. Just going to reinforce that color a wee bit more here. Well, it is kind of a little tree. It's actually tiny little 3D printed branches that I scaled down. So yeah, it is technically kind of a tree. It's a branch. So yeah, this is I think this was 80% here, and I ended up going with 50% or 55%, which is what that is. And then I did some really tiny ones at like 20%, I think, for the electricity on the backpack. They fit right in between those electrodes perfectly. Now this one is actually two pieces. I grafted it in here, so there's another one right there at that joint, because it looked a little flat, one dimensional. Yeah, it was. Well, hold on, the box is. The box is over here. The box shows it right here. See, electricity crackling, and it shows it on her card, but it shows her spear is crackling as well. And so I was like, but it wasn't in the sculpt. And I was like, well, why don't we add some lightning? And I said, I've got some little branches and some corals and stuff like that we could print small and paint them up, look like lightning. And the client loved the idea. So here we went. I've really enjoyed the freedom that a 3D printer gives you to get creative on things. Like, I mean, I had no idea the things that you could do with a 3D printer for miniatures, not just for other things, but for miniatures alone. You got bases and all sorts of stuff you can do with it. Fantastic. It is for a client. Yep. I don't know if he's in here or not, but Lord Korok, when he shows up, this is his. I'm doing the EVS keyword for him. And since it's a basically new line from Wyrd, I figured it would be okay to paint in stream. So. Especially like I said, with all the metal work and stuff like that, they're good for, techniques, right? We have all sorts of stuff. Got leathers and metals and, forces of nature like lightning and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on these miniatures. And the other ones from like the Turning Tides, you've got the water thing going on with them. So there's stuff you can do with those as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm sorry. It does take up a lot of the frame, doesn't it? One of these days, I'll figure out another mounting solution for it. It is just a newer uh, let's see here, NEEWER microphone stand um, that I converted to work with my webcam. I don't know if you can see it, but right here, there's a little wooden adapter that I cut, mount it to the base of the webcam with the 4 little tiny screws, and I cut a hex hole and put a nut in it, a 10, is it 10 by 1/4 or something like that, hex bolt hole, glued a hex bolt in there, and then it attached to the microphone stand. A lot of wording for that, but yeah, that's what it does. That's funny because we used to say QQ was quit crying in PvP. Were you asking a question there? Were you telling me to? It was a crying shame. Yeah, yeah, that was what I was trying for. Like I said, it's not the best angle on my face, but yeah, it I care more that the miniature looks good than my face looks good because I'll be honest, I'm not a face model. I'm not a face scientist, so yeah. I'd rather the miniature look better. You could use a better camera mount. Love your camera though. Yeah, that's what this is. It's a microphone stand. Um, I mean, a scissor arm microphone stand, not like a tall microphone stand. Now, if I had a SLR, I could mount it up above everything and be able to zoom in enough that you could see the miniature. But unfortunately, that's money. I don't really. I mean, I have a DSLR, um, but I'd have to spend probably $300-400 for another lens and $300 for a capture card, and I just really don't feel like spending that kind of money on it. I keep hoping someday someone's going to invent a webcam that actually looks good. I know it's a lot to hope for, but I keep hoping. Um, USB out to the HDMI on my camera. Like I need one of the Elgato capture cards. Canon EOS M50 Mark II. Yeah, that's a good camera. Yep, it does. It does. My camera does not send out a clean HDMI signal. Otherwise, that would be fine. But unless you want to see, you know, Rebel T5 f stop blah 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 all over the screen, then you don't want that output. Yeah, that was the only other thing. I was really sad that it was only 720. That was kind of a bummer too. I did try it for a bit. Like I said, between the fix or the 1835 mil lens was not good enough for where I was putting the camera to get the miniature in focus. It also did not focus fast enough. So anytime the miniature moved, I was having to do manual focuses, and it became a pain. So I stopped doing it. Yeah, but I don't have a camcorder, sir. And again, it's money that I don't want to spend. There isn't. It's it's a T5. It's an older DSLR. There is no setting for that. It's built into the firmware. Thank you. Appreciate that. This webcam is not bad. It's like I said, it's got Carl Z's optics in it, so it's not a bad picture. It's not the best at focusing, especially in the autofocus mode. Like most web cameras, it doesn't like to focus up close. Um, so that becomes a bit of an issue. Okay. There's these tiny little imperfections there at the shoulder joint, really making this blend tough. And that's not on the unfortunately not on the mold. That is on me because I left some sanding scratches there, and that is making it really tough. Okay. Give it just a second here before I start dropping that next one in there. Fixing another one of those scratches there. Just doing a little manual hair dryer there. Going to break that noisy thing out. Okay. And just a little bit here. And then we'll go back the other way. Always back and forth and back and forth. Okay. Then we'll come back and pull in a little bit of these two together here. Looks like a little too much. Give it a sec to dry, see how it looks. And got impatient, tore paint, so I have to wait a little bit for that. Okay, that is one for one thing when you're working with these blends. If you have something wet and you come back and you hit it with the brush and it's not dry, yeah, you have a very good chance of ripping the paint off, which is what I just did. So let's work a little bit up here around this neck collar while we're waiting on that. Gonna lurk for a while. All right. Thank you. Lurks are always appreciated, Eleanor. Okay. And a little bit of this one. So we're about to try over on that other side, so we can go back to it in just a second. But I'll go ahead and finish out a little bit more work on this neck here. But yeah, it's just something to keep in mind when you work with thin paints and blends, that if you overwork it, work it too fast, get impatient, you're going to rip paint. And sometimes that means stripping that area down. So it's not something you want to do inadvertently, especially if you have to get it to the point where it's stripped. That is kind of heartbreaking. And I have actually already stripped that shoulder pad down once, because I realized, like, after it went together, the gaps were so bad that they were popping through the paint. And so I stripped it down, milliputted them, and then had to come back in and redo them. So it's already been stripped once. We don't want to do it again. Oh my God, guys, can you hear my cat wheezing? It's like a wheeze snore. It's really weird. And finally, just a wee little bit of ice yellow. Get a little bit of that down here as well. Oh, there's too much, too much. Back up, rewind. Need a 30-second rewind there. There we go. That's a little better. Tone that sucker down some. Finger eraser would not have worked there, unfortunately. Gotta know when to use it. Okay, now a little bit of eyeshadow on the top of that collar, and that should be it. I'm gonna have to take a break here shortly and go clean up my wet palette because it's starting to get dried out a little bit. Okay. The tear actually does not look as bad as I thought it was going to. That's good. Finger eraser in there. Just about made a boo-boo there. Got it on the chest piece, but we were able to get it off in time. All right. little bit of water there. And this we want to kind of pull it thin. Okay. All right, so we're just kind of trying to build this area back up because, like I said, we kind of tore a spot off. We're trying to do this without getting too liney, too much. Too much differential between the two shades. You just realize you're being all quiet and stuff. Yeah. It's definitely a lot more quiet when there's no interaction. I get kind of absorbed into it and just kind of forget to talk or say a lot. It's not so bad when I'm just doing, just your everyday Joe, but when I'm sitting here doing non-metallics or whatever, I tend to get really absorbed. Yeah, I understand. Well, that's what I was doing, so understandable. I was focusing on this, you were focusing on your thing. It happens. Yeah. I'm getting happy now with this darker blend here. Now we just got to bling, blah, 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 bling the brights into it. Yes, we got to bling the brights. Vectorizing images for a friend's laser cutter. Very tedious. Oh, I gotcha. I have been really wanting to get a laser cutter, but I just don't know about the price. I see some that are, a couple hundred, and then there's this jump from a couple hundred to like 3,000-4,000. And I'm like, well, can I get by with a couple $100 one? Is this one going to be okay for what I'm using it for, or do I gotta get the $3,000 or $4,000 one? Well, that would not be a problem because I could put it where my 3D printers are because I have them actually on my garage, vented out a window. I built a cage for my printers, and then I have a 120 millimeter computer fans running off a power supply, sucking the air out of the cage and out the window, and it literally, when I cover up the intake hole with a sheet of paper, it literally will suck the sides in like a snare drum in less than a second and a half. So it moves some air. Okay. Now, do FDMs have a smell? They just smell like melty plastic, or how do they smell? The resin, I could not have in the house. It was just horrible. You only smell them if you have them too hot. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. Oh, okay. Now, see, I would plan to be running ABS if I were going to be running the FDM. So, would I probably need to vent those as well? You got to turn up the temperature enough on those that they're going to be stinky. I have a very sensitive nose. Oh, ABS produces highly toxic fumes. Fantastic. Good to know. So definitely going out the window. All right. Okay. PLA safe indoors. Okay. I see. What I'm wondering is, can I get strong enough parts from ABS to make RC car parts? Probably going to be like a 28 scale slash 12th or 10th scale. 28 scale for mini Z stuff, and then 10th or 12th for indoor racing. Well, I guess they're both indoor racing, but you know what I mean. I wouldn't do any 8 scale off-roading. It's funny how 8 scale took over. Like, used to be, 10th scale was king, and then 8 scale just came in and walked away with it. I don't know what happened, but 10th scale just kind of vamoosed. Scale models which move, yes. They will probably take some hard hits on the walls and stuff like that. So, I mean, granted, I'll have a bumper and stuff, but they'll probably need to be pretty strong. So if it's something I can get that's going to be strong enough to stand up to that, I definitely am going to pick one up. I've got a friend that's got a really nice one, huge build plate on it. Like, I think it's 18 inches or 21 inches by 12 by 12 or something like that. It's a monster. It's like a $2,000 new, and he's selling it to me for $500, and it has almost no use because he got sick right after he got it. So I helped a friend with the design and printing side of a really cool river turner truck that had that big canoe on top. Nice, very cool. Okay, we're kind of done with the top portion. We'll maybe brighten it up just a tad bit. We got to kind of come around the ring of it, the outer edge. Dig back through your Instagram, you take it in your project. All right, take a look at it later, of course, not right now. So yeah, that's good to know that I could potentially could be doing some RC projects on that. I've seen something about salt curing. FDM prints. I don't know what material they used, whether it was EVS or what, but they would pack it in salt and then bake it at a certain temperature to like uniformly melt the inner structures, and the salt kept it from losing its shape. Of course, they come out, they had a kind of a weird texture because of the salt, but you could polish that off and stuff. So it was definitely an interesting article. Salt curing, you have to print 100% infill, and you can do that with PLA. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I didn't remember what material it was, but it sounded interesting, and I was wondering if maybe then you could potentially use the parts for RC. I don't know what infill means. Is that where it's 100% solid, no hollows? What does that mean? Okay. Did I lose you, Doug? Are you typing? Yeah, for training percent at 10% infill, which means the interior only has printed lines at 10%. Okay. So I was right on that. Okay, cool. So 100% infill is solid. That is handy to know. I have not done a whole lot in the way of infill, hollowing, whatever you want to call it, for resin printing, which I know I should. So to save resin, but most of the time I just print at full, fill, or don't hollow it, because most of the models you get are solid anyways. Very few of the STLs arrive in a hollowed format. So bless you, cat. The Master Grogu one, or Sith Grogu, is one exception. That one was printed, or the file was in hollowed format. So shrinking it, because they were not, it was a Boolean. Remember we were talking about those? I think it was because it had been Boolean together, and the fact it was hollow. When you'd shrink it, scale it, the legs would come up through the body, and the head would come down through the clothing. So yeah, it's reduced section on your fat. Ah, okay. Okay, that I did not know. I thought it was to save resin. Okay. See, I've been printing since February and didn't know that. I'd have been a poor model, but boy, it sure looked cool. But I wasn't going to print it at full size because full size was like 6 inches tall. I was like, I don't need one that big. I just want one, miniature that I can paint. Saves money on big models. I gotcha. So, anyways, I haven't done much with that because, if you don't set up your drain holes properly, you don't get the resin drained properly, that resin can bubble back up through the outer coating or even explode. There was a couple cases where I had some miniature STLs from Kickstarters that they wrote and said, if you've got any of these particular prints made, you need to go drill a hole in them right now and drain them or throw them away because they will explode. So we didn't know about it for like 8 months because that's how long it took for it to happen. But that's happening now. I was like, golly, that's crazy. Actually, no, it was the Epic Basing. That was it. It was their Dark and Twisted Trees. That was the ones, which I've been using a lot of their stuff. In fact, these little tree limbs that I'm using for lightning, these are Epic Basing. This is their stuff, and they have some really tall trees about this big. And one of them, the STL was hollowed, and no one really thought about it because there was no exit holes, no drain ports, and they just printed it and started painting it. And about 8 months later, their demo model exploded, and they realized, oh wow, this model's hollow. You have a UV snake here inside. Yeah, that much I knew. I just, like I said, I haven't done any, so I haven't worried about the UV snake. Although I'd probably be okay because I use translucent resin, so you can see through my miniatures for the most part. This is what I use. I use this red or this aqua. I like this better, this aqua stuff here, because this because of the lighter color, it actually cures in 1.4 second per layer on my mono. So I like this stuff better. Yeah, that is true. Gray definitely photographs a lot better. That's very, very true. I usually, what I end up doing is I'll print them and I'll prime them and then I'll photograph them, because yeah, you're right. The translucent does not photograph worth a flip. Yeah, that is very true. Okay. We're just continuing to kind of work this around a little bit. The trim here is almost at a done stage. We'll have to go back in and do the little rivets, the rivets like we did over here. Did I miss one? I think I did. Just barely. And we'll come in here with a little bit of this. And that should pop it back out. I have to go to a white. That just isn't quite as bright as the others, is it? There we go. Let me just do that on all of those. At least the top ones that really catch the light. There we go. Do you ever find yourself watching someone else paint and trying to zoom in? Yes. Yes. I also do that when I'm watching somebody do coding. I'll be like, oh, it's not my screen. I can't do it. Yep. Guilty. Not ever. Yeah, I'm not in control of this image. Yep. Been there, man. Been there indeed. Stop moving. I was looking at. Yep. I think streaming has actually improved my steady hand ability. Because not only do I have to hold it steady for the model to paint, right? But I also have to hold it steady in the camera frame. So I'm like getting double the exercise on steady hand. So, oh, hey, Korok, how are you doing? Watch Haunted Paint Time. Yes. How are you doing? We got some work done a little bit. We got her bracelets done. See? Yeah. And we got that one done. And we're working on that shoulder. and it up on around her neck a little bit. So yeah. Other than being enslaved to an iron foundry, yeah, you're doing all right. Man, I'm telling you, I don't know how you do it. The only thing more frustrating than that is watching a really cool crafting videos where they show you the whole process, but then only show you the finished product for like about 5 seconds. Oh wow. I was gonna say where the one where they show you the finished product for like 10 hours while they yap about it, and then they show the entire building process in time lapse. Those are the ones that irritate me. Like, ever, I wanted to see that. Bring it back. I want to see how you did that. All the hours, all the days. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt indeed. Okay, so we're gonna come in and work on those little doodads and stuff. Yeah. May hit a little bit more trim near that front edge, see if it catches the light a little bit better. And get it in there without doing anything damaging. Here we go. Guy who does really cool chocolate sculptures and they show the whole build, but then they just show a few seconds and it's hard to pause. Oh, okay. I only watched that chocolate build one time. Check over here. I think I got a message, probably a 30-minute warning. Yes, 30-minute warning. Okay. That was 3 minutes ago. So, yeah. Getting those rivets locked in now. I think there's one right down here too. If not, we're going to make one. Am I counting the rivets? No, I am not a rivet counter. I am sorry to disappoint. Now, if I were commissioned to do something accurately, I could and I would be a rivet counter because I am obsessed with some details. But there has to be, for the most part, there has to be a reason. And I used not to be that way. I used to be extremely AR about every little detail. And that when I started doing commission work, I had to learn how to let things go as good enough. Because if you didn't, you never made any money because you'd be obsessed with things that really didn't affect it too horribly much, right? So okay, well, that's good. Got that shoulder. Finally got that shoulder blended in there, Korok. So no longer the hot garbage phase there. All right. We're gonna work on the leggings a little bit. We're not gonna get a. I don't think we're gonna finish the whole thing. Let's do the smoother one first, because I might have a chance of doing it. Problem is, I am running out of paint now. Okay, so we're just kind of building in our shapes a little bit. These would be like the gross reflections we're trying to capture. And back again, had to grab food. No problem, man. We're just keeping on, keeping on. You're, just beginning to work up the basic light structure on this leg greave or whatever it's called. You see, we are tearing the paint just a little bit because we're in a hurry. But this is kind of like the base layer, so it's not a horrible thing. You just fill it right back in. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not the best at it, but it's certainly kind of my shtick lately, right? I have been doing a lot of it. I guess I'll continue to be doing a lot of it because I've got some very big non-metallic metal projects coming up, but I can't say anything more than that. Well, good, man. I mean, that is always nice to hear when you can, that you're inspiring / challenging others to do other things, to do something new, right? That's what matters. Good thing, I mean, or bad thing, whichever you want to call it. These are mostly in shadow. I mean, other than like the tops of the kneecaps, they're pretty much in shadow. Hope I'm on screen there. You know, we're starting to shape it up a wee bit here. Okay. So I think we may come in and reinforce a little bit of a curve underneath the kneecap a bit. Even though that shape isn't really there, I'm going to kind of fake it. Okay. Just so it gives us a little bit of interest here. Okay. So we've got this shadow now cut down here, which makes it look like a dome where her knee would be. And then there's a lit up edge, a ledge, right? Underneath that. And that should provide us a little bit something to work with for some interest. So yeah, that's something you can do with non-metallic metals, is that you can you can kind of fake shapes because you're building light with shapes anyways, right? So what's to stop you from building shapes that aren't even there? Now, how well you can do this is a testament to how well you understand light, which I admit I am not the best at yet, but Can't get better without practicing, right? Well, honestly, it's kind of a boring little greave, right? It's kind of curved at the top and just goes straight down. So I figure if I cut in kind of a kneecap shape, kind of like this one. See, this one's got an indent here that follows the shape of the knee. So it's a little bit more interesting. So I thought I would do the same here. Make it like this is a rounded cap on the shin guard itself. So yeah, exactly. I'm creating detail that doesn't exist otherwise. And like I said, because you're working light with shapes, there's nothing that prevents you from creating shapes with light. Okay, it works both ways, kind of, right? I feel like I'm trying to get a little too Yoda here on people. Light or do not light that? Your question. Exactly. It's more the spoon. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It actually is more the spoon. You're right. Thank you. Thank you, little child, for showing me the way. A little ball child guy. Trying to remember it. The kid was bald too, wasn't he? Wasn't he shaved like a little Shaolin? It's been a long time since I've seen that one. Oh, yeah, it seems like he had his head shaved. Could be wrong. Oh, that's why it works so well. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. I wasn't wrong then. All right. Yeah. Wasn't wrong. Okay. So we're going to swing on around this way and build this up a little bit here. I know it looks a little blotchy, but we'll fix that. Extra crotch auger to be. Imagine, yeah, he's probably on up there in adult age now. What was that, 93, 98, 98, 99, somewhere around there. I know when I came out of the theater, reached the room like that, my friend in the shoulder, he's like, "Ah, what was that for?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I was just checking to see if we're in the Matrix or not." Because, it kind of made you wonder, would we know if we were in an advanced simulation? If it were advanced enough, we wouldn't. Two 2001 or two, really? Okay, for some reason I thought 98, 99. Wow. Okay. Okay, we're just kind of working these colors around, getting the shape defined. It was 1999. Okay. All right. Yeah, if only you had a vast resource of information about things. Right, right, exactly. Okay, guys, we're getting close. We're down to the last 10 minutes of the show here. I'm going to try and get some of the more of this done. So I just want to apologize again on the Calypso. That was supposed to be the model we're going to work on today, but I dropped my airbrush, bent my needle, and did not get to get done what I wanted to get done on it. So if I can get my parts in time for the next stream, we'll work on it. Otherwise, depending on how quickly things happen, we may be working on, or what days happen when. We may be working on Gen Con stuff next stream. So I don't know. We'll see. Don't let Doug be your guide for anything. He's pretty useful most of the time. You're a great cook. I'm pretty decent cook myself, but I was not a chef, but I'm a pretty decent cook. Part of it because I had to well, I've got a lot of allergies, so I had to learn to cook things myself because I couldn't eat things off the shelf for the most part. Being allergic to onion is a rough thing because, well, everything has onion in it, including potato chips. Most potato chips, almost all potato chips have onion in them. I can have some, but I have a limit, and when I hit that limit, the migraines come in and they hurt. So yeah. Now you want homemade jerky. Nice. It has onion powder in it. Oh, that's horrible. Well, not like I get to have any because you're going to Gen Con and I'm not. I'm staying behind, man. I'm being left behind. I would love to go to Gen Con. I really would. Any con, honestly, but at the same time, I always think about all those people there. So peoply. And my social anxiety kicks in, and I'm just like, nope. Whole lot of nope. Is it just onion or is it all alliums? No, garlic is fine. It's just onion, and in particular red onion, which is a shame because I absolutely love red onion. Nothing adds a pop of that color like red onion, other than red cabbage. But red cabbage, only goes with so many things. But that is red onions look so beautiful in a dish. I love them in salads, especially. But anyways, yeah, it's not all of those. It's just onions. Red onion, though, I can literally smell it. Just smell it, not eat it. Smell it, and I'll get a migraine. But yeah, there's a couple others. But actually, when I was younger, the doctor said it's probably be easier to tell you what you're not allergic to than what you are allergic to, because the list is so long. But anyways, guys, we are about at the end of the time here. We worked on Kiya today. We did some non-metallic metal, of course. We finally got that shoulder fixed up. We got the rings on her bracelets done. That bracelet done. We started working on the shin guard down here. We were creating shapes that do not exist using paint, using light. So that was kind of cool. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get started on the Calypso next stream or not, but I do have a little progress on it. Ooh, right there. If I could get my social media link popped up there, that would be great. When it comes up, it's a Willow link. It leads to my Twitch channels and my Instagram and my Book of Faces and all that good stuff. Creating shapes that don't exist. You mean lying to our eyes? Exactly. That is exactly what I'm doing. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Oh, are we not going to get my little linky dinky? Well, I'll just say it. There it is. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's my Willow link there. All my social media is included in it. If you would like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. It is free. Doesn't cost you anything. As well as drop a like here if you are already liked and followed. So yeah. Thanks so much for hanging out. I literally forgot. I think Seabass plays today at 6. Is that correct, or am I wrong, Kim? Yep. Is it 6 or 6:30? 6. Okay. So in just 30 minutes, Seabass will be on, and I don't know what he's painting, but he is a good painter, dude. So please tune in for that. And guys, we will see you later. Till then, stay weird.